Hi everyone, this is Mike, N9HEL, and I'm going to walk you through how to use VarAC and how to use it in conjunction with the Simplex Project Procedure Manual. First thing we're going to do is let's take a look at several of the settings you'll need to do. I'm assuming everyone has this set up, and we need to look at the tuning video up on the club website in order to do a proper tune on Vera FM. It's not just using auto-tune, which we find over here. This is only 1/3 of the tuning process. We have to do microphone and speakers also. So if you do an auto-tune and you see it approved over there and you think, oh great, I'm on the air, you may not be. You really need to follow the tuning procedure, and we'll talk about that at another meeting. Okay, let's take a look at settings. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the settings menu here, and we're going to look at my information. Got to have your call sign in here. And you can fill out all this other stuff as general information about your setup and a little bit about you. People can connect up to you even if you're not there and interrogate these settings to learn a little more about you. Is that creepy? I don't know. Probably not. Don't put anything in here you don't want people to know. So you would avoid the creepiness. But people can do that. Most of them don't. So in here, we'd put our call sign and any other information that we feel like we want to give out. And then we would save and exit. All right, let's go back into settings again. And let's go into rig control. And for most everybody, we are not going to be using this push-to-talk configuration, so that'll be none, and the frequency control, that'll also be none. Most rigs do not have a CAT control on them. Some of them do. The Yaesu FT991, some of the ICOMs, and some of the other mobile radios do have some CAT control on them. But we're going to avoid that for now. And so we'll just set all this stuff to none, and we'll do our push-to-talk through the Vera modem down here. So let's move on. Logging, you can connect a logging, whatever logging software you use to this. And Vera, this is set up pretty standard, so if you're on right now, you should have that set up. Let's talk about CQ and beacon. We want to set our beacon type to standard. We were using advanced, but we want to change that to standard. Reason being is when we're in advanced mode, we can't relay a beacon through another station. You can only do that in standard mode. Like, let's say you wanted to get to another area that does not see your beacon, and we'll talk about this in the future too. What you can do is, let's say W4NAS points to an area that we can't normally get to. So if we set our beacon to standard, I have my beacon interval set to 10. That's every 10 minutes the beacon will go off. We want you beaconing often. 5 is a little too much. 10 and 15 are pretty good, so pick one of those. And if I beacon via W4NAS, my beacon will be transmitted through W4NAS as a digipeater and go out to all the stations W4NAS can hear. We can only do this on standard. We can't do it on advanced. And right now I'm not using that, so I'm just going to turn that off. Let's move into QSO. This is all pretty standard stuff here. And we'll talk about email at a future date also. This is where you would set up your email if you want to be an email gateway. And we're not talking Vmail. Vmail is the internal mail in VarAC, but external email, which this does, kind of like WinLink. Okay, let's get out of here. And we're also going to go ahead and look at appearance and sounds. You can change your screen appearance, change your text size if you can't read it. I got mine a little larger here because I'm old. And I'm using the theme Heathkit right now for my background colors, which is interesting to me. One thing I want to talk about is narrator here. VarAC does a lot of audio reading of text. And you can actually set it up to read everything if you want, and that gets to be a real pain because VarAC becomes a real chatterbox. I've got my narrator set to female, and what I've turned off here is narrate receive beacons and narrate my beacons. If you're beaconing every 10 minutes, you don't care, you want to hear it announced. And I also have off narrate incoming messages. If you turn this on, it's going to read everything anybody sends to you, and that gets kind of annoying too, unless you're very hard, or unless you have a problem seeing the screen or something that you could turn it on. You could also connect Bluetooth to your PC to hear this coming across on your hearing aids. So you can have it talk anything you want, but normally we'll keep this off over there. And so if we change anything over here, we're going to just save and close. Okay, so that's kind of settings. Tools, we're not going to really talk about some of this stuff. You can look at the VarAC log here, and it's going to show you all sorts of things that your station is doing. We won't worry about that now. But let's start looking at what the windows are going to be, or I should say the sections of the windows are in VarAC. All right, now we're going to look at explain all the sections of the VarAC window here. What we're going to look at, the first one is you always want to have your frequency. We're doing FM simplex. You always want to have your frequency set to 144.950. This is meaningless to your radio. Honest to God, it's just for putting 2 meters up here, and we'll talk about that. But just for now, let's make sure this is set to this. HF is a whole different story, but we're not talking HF here. Connect and disconnect modem. You'll never really want to use these. But what happens if this is darkened out, we are connected to the modem. If I hit disconnect modem here, watch what happens to VarAC. It goes away. And I hit connect modem again, and it brings it back up. If you don't see your modem there, then you may have accidentally hit one of these. Next portion of the window over here is kind of important. If we want to connect to somebody or ping somebody, connect means we want to initiate a chat, and ping means we just want a signal report. So this is where you would enter the call sign to connect to somebody. We connect, and then once we're done, we disconnect. We also can call CQ here, and we'll demo that in a second. And this is the important part of this box: send beacons. We always want to be sending beacons, always. And I have my beacon, if we go back to the settings up here and into CQ and beacons, I have my beacon set at 10-minute intervals. We always want to be sending beacons. Why? Because if we're not sending beacons, people don't see us. And that's very important in when we're going to be running emergency communications. So if you left-click on this box, I'm going to be sending a beacon every 10 minutes. Or as close to 10 minutes as it comes, if the channel is busy. If I left-click it again, it turns beacons off. If I right-click it, it will send one beacon. And sometimes you may want to do that as a test. And right now it's waiting to send that beacon, waiting for the channel to clear. It waits a few seconds after the channel is busy. Okay. And there, we sent one beacon. If you see it right down here. And we'll talk about this box in a little bit. But we always want this to be sending beacons. So left-click it and make sure that is on. You can also set it to come up when you bring this up in your settings here. I think that might even be standard. All right, let's talk. There's a window I've got partially hidden here. And this is your VarAC log, your live log. Your VariLog and your VarAC log. These are both live. I usually keep them off. I don't look at them too much unless something's wrong, and it generally isn't. So I'm going to slide with this over here and bring these other windows back here. Okay, now let's look at this. This is your beacon window. This is where you see who is beaconing, the people that are beaconing that you can hear. And we still got a whole bunch of people in here. I've got the time last heard here, the band they're on, which all should be 2 meters. We're not going to be seeing the location anymore, or this little indicator here. This indicator here means that this station is an email gateway. This indicator is obviously a location indicator. And here's the signal-to-noise ratio, in other words, the strength of the signal we're seeing. With standard beacons, we will not be seeing this gateway or this, but we're going to have to go to standard beacons in order to be able to use a relay on beacons. And we'll talk about that again later. Next box over is CQ calls. Let's say you're lonely and a bunch of people are active in here. One way we can see that they're active is we'll see here W4NAS is beaconed 5 minutes ago. Okay, and KX4YD has beaconed 12 minutes ago, and N4MRD has beaconed 25 minutes ago. And N9HEL via, and we're going to ignore this one because I was doing a little experimenting. Now we're going to see AB1L here is beaconed 1 hour and 31 minutes ago. AB1L is probably off the air. How can we tell that? Let's do this. We're going to ping AB1L. We're going to bring AB1L's call sign up here. You may have to type it in until you propagate this list of call signs here. And we're going to try and ping AB1L. Whoop. We are on Alpha Bravo 1 lingo. We did ping him. So that means he is on the air. He is just not beaconing. So we're going to have to get him to beacon a little more often. But if you go in here and you hit call CQ, this is going to call CQ for everyone that can hear you in your beacon list. And if somebody wants to talk to you, they can click on the CQ message that they get, and it will automatically connect up to you. If I double click on any one of these things, if I double click on W4NAS, watch what happens. I'm automatically connecting up to W4NAS.
Connected to Kilo X-ray 4 Yankee Delta.
Oops. Nope, I didn't do that, did I? Oh, that's because I clicked on the wrong thing. I didn't click on W4NAS. Let me disconnect, and it doesn't make a difference.
Connected from Kilo X-ray 4 Yankee Delta.
I connected to the wrong person, but you get the gist of that. If you double-click on them, you will connect to them. If you double-click on them in the CQ box, if they're still on the air, you will connect to them. Okay, let's move on down. This box right here is going to, when you're connected with somebody, let's connect up to W4NAS again.
Connected to Whiskey 4 November.
Okay, and it says we're connected to W4NAS NASA EOC. It's taking that from the description information that we saw back in settings. And it announces that it's an email gateway, so you can use it for regular email. And I'm going to disconnect there, but that's what this box is for. It's going to tell you who you're connected to. When I disconnect, that's going to disappear.
Disconnected from Whiskey 4 November Alpha Sierra. USO duration 28 seconds.
Okay, up here, you should always be in advanced mode. We are in advanced mode. We may go into EMCOM mode. We're still researching that, and we don't know yet. But we certainly are always, for regular stuff, going to be in advanced mode. Reason is in advanced mode, we can do a lot more things here. I don't know why they have the simple mode, but I'm not going to bother talking about that now. All right, let's go to these two big windows right here. This window up here is broadcast messages. Broadcast messages are to all or to individual call signs. And this is an easy way to just send simple messages in a group conversation back and forth, kind of like a group chat right here. You would do it using broadcast. I'll demo that in a second. And if we look down at the window below, this is where all your beacon and connection information comes. When I connect up to somebody here, the information will be in this window. So let's go ahead and let's connect up to W4NAS again. And we're going to watch. It's waiting for the frequency to clear. Boom, we're connected to W4NAS. We can see the handshake here. It's going to send signal reports. Here's signal reports. And it's going to send a second signal report here. There it is. And we're connected up to W4NAS. No one has to be on the other side for me to do things here. I'm going to interrogate W4NAS's beacon list to see who W4NAS can hear. So I'm going to do this command, LHR. Commands are entered in a less than and greater than. And I'm going to hit enter to send that message, and we'll talk about that later. And the command is queued up here, and the command has been issued. Now watch what happens over here. So I'm connected to W4NAS, And W4NAS is telling me everyone that's in their beacon window. And yes, K1JAX I can't hear right now. It is not in my beacon window. Reason this is important, if W4NAS can hear K1JAX and I don't see K1JAX in my beacon window, I can use W4NAS to connect to K1JAX. I would say in here W4NAS via K1JAX, and we'll look at that later too, and connect up to them. But there's a lot of things you can do with an unattended station. That's why this thing's so cool. So, all right, I'm going to disconnect from that, and we're going to talk about some other things. So, keep in mind, this is only
QSO duration 1 minute and 29 seconds.
only broadcast messages, and this is only connect messages and beacons. So if we're looking at broadcast window, let's do a broadcast. This is how we'll converse pretty much in emergency mode. We will not connect to each other, but we'll broadcast to all. So if I click on the broadcast window, it brings up this window, and I like moving this to the side. If we see the 2 is all, and we can add a via here if we want to go through somebody. We can add 2 vias in here if we want to go through somebody, and we'll talk about that at a later date. So let's say I want to send a message to all, and I'm going to say just a test to all. And I got a couple options here. I can hit broadcast, and it'll send it, and leave this window open, which we want to leave open if we're having conversations with people. I can have broadcast and close. It'll close the window, or I can cancel the broadcast here entirely. Or anytime you want to send something, if you hit the enter key, it'll automatically send what you type. So I'm going to hit broadcast now, and let's see what happens.
Sending broadcast to all.
Okay, now see, N9HEL sent a broadcast to all, and here's the message we just sent. So anybody that's on here that's hearing me, that can see my station, is getting this message. And somebody else may send a broadcast back saying, hey, hi, how are you? And I can send another broadcast back to them. We can go back and forth like that. If I were to enter a call sign in there and say, let's say test, this would send it to W4NAS only. And this would be a private conversation. No one can monitor this. When you connect up for a chat, it is also a private conversation, and no one can monitor it. So that stuff is private. But when you say broadcast to all, everyone hears it. So if I connect up to W4NAS, only WNAS will see this test message here. Now, when you put a call sign in here, this little box is going to pop up. Add for SNR information. Chats are all error recovery. In other words, they guarantee to get through. They'll keep trying until they do get through. Broadcasts to all are not. You broadcast out there and hope everyone hears you. If you broadcast to an individual call sign and you click this box, that's going to be a guaranteed delivery, and I'll show you what will happen. We're going to broadcast to W4NAS, and we had checked that signal to noise report.
Sending broadcast to Whiskey 4 November Alpha Sierra.
Okay, we see the message here is test with an SR after it. So what's going to happen is, hopefully he'll do it quickly enough. Yeah.
Broadcast from Whiskey.
W4NAS sent me a signal noise report. That means he did receive my message. There was a guaranteed delivery there. So that is something else you can use. I don't know how much we'll be using that, but we'll figure that out at a later date. So that's kind of broadcast. Let's talk about the chat window here. I think we saw that. I can connect up. We got W4NAS up here, so we're going to connect up to W4NAS.
Connected to Whiskey 4 November.
And we're going to see our connection here. We're going to see our handshake start. I'm going to send 2 signal reports. There's one. Here comes the other. What happens in here is messages pop up in this box, move over to currently sending, and get transmitted, and then you'll see them on the screen. You'll see your side of the conversation and the other person's side of the conversation. When the other person is typing, you're going to see a message pop up in here and say W4NAS is typing. Just like you can see when someone's typing on your phone messaging system. It's pretty cool. So you know they're kind of doing that. So we would, let's say we want to type, we're We're going to type hello to W4NAS. You can either hit send button, but I find it easier to just hit enter here. And boom, look, it's queued up over here to sending. And it went across, and there we're seeing it in the screen now. So this was sent to W4NAS, and W4NAS can respond to it. There's also a lot of interesting things you can send while you're chatting with somebody, and these are gestures and tags. You can send emojis, and they will cascade down his screen, which is kind of interesting. We can send sounds. If you type in capital D-I-N-G exclamation point, it'll play a ding over there. Ring, it'll ring 3 times. If you type in H-I-H-I-W with an exclamation point, a woman that sounds exactly like Hillary Clinton laughing is going to laugh on their side. It's pretty weird. I'm not sure if we can hear that or not here. I'm going to try it just for grins. H-I-H-I-W exclamation point. Let me close this off. And I'm going to send that. And let's see if it comes across. Yeah, I hope you heard that, but it's kind of weird. And you get the smiley faces in a woman there. A lot of things you can do here back and forth in chat. While we're in the chat connection, we can send a file right here. We can pick any kind of file off the PC. This will, if you pick a file, it's going to automatically compress it for you. You can send pictures, you can send music, you can send an audio file, you can send all sorts of stuff here, but you can do it. I haven't figured out how we'll use that yet, but you can do that. So you can do a send file. And remember I said inquire? We can inquire, let's say, let's inquire about W4NAS's locator. So I'm going to click that and close this off, and see it's going to send that out. And it's sending it over to WNAS. And here's WNAS's locator. So you can inquire, even though nobody else is on the other side of the station, you can inquire a whole bunch of stuff about that person if they have it filled in. If they don't have it filled in, you're not going to see squat. So that's what you also can do. All right, I'm going to disconnect from W4NAS here.
Disconnected from Whiskey 4 November Alpha Sierra.
And
3 minutes and 4 seconds.
And we're going to take a pause here. All right, let's talk about VarAC, Vmail, and email. We'll do Vmail first and email second. VarAC is a store and forward system. In other words, if you send a Vmail, Vmail being an email amongst all the Vara stations, it's kind of like a private email, and email being an external email to like your private account or to WinLink or wherever the heck you want to send it. You can also get replies back through all these things, and we'll demonstrate that in a different video because it gets a little more complex. But it's a store and forward. So that means if you are connected to a station, you can go in here and send a Vmail to them. And let's demonstrate this. I'm going to connect to W4NAS. I'm not sure if you can hear the connection stuff. This microphone is directional. Okay, and actually, I'm sending an old Vmail, so let's ignore that right now. So let's go into Send Mail, and I want to send it to W4NAS, and I'm going to say test here and test here. And I'm connected to W4NAS now, and I'm going to send W4NAS a Vmail, and I'm going to click on Send. And let's watch what happens here. And that Vmail was delivered to W4NAS, and what's going to happen is their new Vmail light right here is going to be flashing red. And they can go, if you double click on this, you read your Vmails and emails. Okay, now I'm going to disconnect from W4NAS.
Disconnected from Whiskey 4 November Alpha Sierra. USO duration 1 minute and 4 seconds.
And now we're going to send a store and forward Vmail. What's going to happen here is I'm going to do the same thing. Let's say test2 to W4NAS. And I'm going to send it. And it's going to say, oh, you're not connected. So it's going to hang out on my system until W4NAS can pick it up. So I'm going to say OK to this, and boom. Look what happens down here. See my outbox? My outbox says 1. I'm hanging on to an email for W4NAS. Now, what's going to happen is the next time my VarAC sees a beacon from W4NAS, which is going to happen in another 3 minutes, I will send W4NAS a message that W4NAS has a Vmail or an email waiting to be picked up on my system. So you're going to have to connect to me. Or if I connect again before then to W4NAS, this will automatically transfer. But let's just see what happens when W4NAS ends up beaconing and see the message W4 is going to get. And we're going to do a quick pause here while we wait for that. Okay, after a break and lunch and a nap and watching part of the Jags game, I came back here, and we can see I've been sending out a mess of notifications here to W4NAS to let them know that, hey, they got a Vmail waiting. So this is what I do, and the person on the other end over at WNAS needs to connect up now and to pick that Vmail up. Okay, let's cover it for Vmail, and we're going to take a pause here, and then we're going to talk about email. All right, we've covered Vmail. Now let's cover email. Very similar to Vmail. So we're going to click on Send Mail, and I like moving this box out here. And instead of putting our call sign here, we see this little checkbox up here, Send to Email. I'm going to click that, and now it says To Email. So I'm going to select a personal account, and this one here, N9HEL mail, and reply to same thing. And we see we still have my call sign in here, and what's going to happen is when this thing goes through an email gateway, and I'll explain that in just a second. If this thing goes through an email gateway, they're going to notify N9HEL that mail is waiting. That's how it does it internally in VarAC when we do a Vmail. Same thing with email. Now, in order to send an email, we have to send it through an email gateway, a station that has actual email connection. How do we know that? Well, we used to know that by this. Actually, it's not here anymore. There's a little sticker that says that this station is an email gateway. It puts a little token on here. But we're going to be using standard beacons instead of advanced, so that's not going to be. So the only two ways we know is by, number one, remembering that a station is an email gateway, or connecting to it, and it will announce it's an email gateway, and we'll see that in a second. All right, we're going to send this email to my personal account, and subject is email. And let's put email test here in the body. Oops, yeah, okay, we got that. And I'm just going to hit send here, just like we did with the Vmail. Whoops, I do have one in the outbox here. Let's send it. And now I've got two in the outbox. I want to get rid of one. Let's get rid of the earliest one here. Let's delete that. And let's close this off. Okay, so I have one email in the outbox, and that is pending a connection to an email gateway. Now, who's an email gateway? Well, right now I know W4NAS is an email gateway, so I'm going to connect to W4NAS. Put them up there, and let's connect to W4NAS, and we'll see what happens here.
Connected to Whiskey 4 November Alpha Sierra. This station serves also as an email gateway.
Okay, see, this station serves as an email gateway. Do we want to relay that email message? If we relay it here, it's going to happen automatically, and it's queuing it up. And boom, it's going to send it. Vmail delivered successfully. And the email was sent successfully. Okay, so in essence, it should appear in my email. So let's disconnect from W4NAS. Okay, let's go to my Gmail account, and let's see if I did indeed receive that email. And I have that Gmail account up here. And here it is, N9HEL via W4NAS email. Let's take a look at it. Email test, here it is. And this is important. It's got this relay to call sign here, N9HEL. If I reply to this, and I'm going to click reply, and we will reply to this, it's what it's going to do. It's going to pick up that, and it will, when W4NAS receives this back, it'll realize that it's going to me, and it'll notify me that I have an email. Let's type in hello back via email, and we will send that, and that should be sent. So I'm going to minimize this. And next time we beacon here, well, it's going to take W4NAS a few minutes to cycle this, so I'm just going to pause here for a second. Okay, we've received a notification from W4NAS that it has an email for me. Or it's calling it a Vmail, but essentially is. But it's a reply to that email, and it's waiting on W4NAS. And it shows this little box here as red, relay, which means somebody's trying to relay me something, and I got to go pick it up. And what we're going to do, if I click on that, we can see that it's W4NAS. So let's go ahead and connect to W4NAS and see what happens.
Connected to Whiskey 4 November Alpha Sierra.
And it looks like it's transferring the Vmail. Yep.
This station serves also as an email gateway.
It's saying it serves as an email gateway. And signal reports are coming across. And if we look down at the bottom here, all of a sudden I'm flashing with one new Vmail. So let's disconnect from W4NAS.
Disconnected from Whiskey 4 November Alpha Sierra.
And here we go.
Duration.
Let's click on new Vmail. And this is the one we just got. And if we look, hello back via email. So we made a round trip. I sent an email to my personal account. And in my personal account, I replied, and it got back to my VarAC node here. So that's kind of how you do it. There are ways to initiate an email to a Vara node outside of the Vara network, but that'll be something we will talk about at another time. That's more for a kind of like a deep dive. But there you go. There's a round trip of the email. So that's kind of how email and Vmail work. Okay, let's talk about Pathfinder. What is Pathfinder? It's a way of finding a station that you can't see in your beacon list that you know might be out there. In the beacon list here, we only see stations that are broadcasting in our range. There could be stations out of our range, like I'm in East Yulee, and I'm not going to see a beacon from somebody in Hilliard unless they're doing a via, like KX4YD over here is running via W4NAS. KX4YD is in Tributary, and still hasn't gotten a good antenna up, so he's using W4NAS as a beacon. I can hear him, but if I were to try, if he was not beaconing, I couldn't hear him. Now, there is a possibility somebody else is hearing him. So let's bring up Pathfinder, and we're going to type in a call sign here. We're going to type in KX4YD, and we're going to find the path to KX4YD. What this means is we're going to put out a message to all the stations that can hear us and see if they hear KX4YD. If they do, they're going to return back the fact that they can hear KX4YD, and then we can use them as a relay station to get to KX4YD. So let's take a look at this. We're going to do a find path, and this will probably take a few seconds here. Okay, we sent a broadcast to all. Pathfinder request KX4YD. And what's going to happen now is the stations that are active that can see KX4YD are going to respond back, hopefully. There it is. Okay.
From Whiskey 4 November Alpha Sierra to November 9 Hotel Echo Lima.
So,
Pathfinder reply. Here Kilo X-ray 4 Yankee.
okay, it's still talking here.
1 dB about 0 hours ago.
Okay, if we look at this,
Cast from Alpha Bravo 1.
oh, it's still talking. Bear with me.
Pathfinder reply. Here Kilo X-ray 4 Yankee.
I'm not sure if you can hear it talking here because I've got a directional microphone. All right. Machine is done talking. So if we look here, these are the two people, W4NAS and AB1L, who have heard KX4YD. So I can use either W4NAS or AB1L to relay or to go via to get to KX4YD. So if I wanted to connect to KX4YD, and I type in KX4YD up here, I can say KX4YD space via AB1L. And if I hit connect, I should be able to go to KX4YD direct. Let's see if that works. Okay, it doesn't look like it. Let's disconnect. Okay, so if we look at AB1L's signal strength to receive KX4YD, it's 0 dB. So that's going to be somewhat maybe of an iffy connection. So instead of using AB1L, we're going to use W4NAS. And let's connect that way. And boom, we've got a connection. So I can't get to KX4YD directly, but I sure as heck can get to him via W4NAS. So I'm just going to leave him a little message here. Just a test. And we're going to send that. Yeah, we're still sending the handshake here. It's a little, when you're going via somebody, it's going to be a little bit slower because it does have to do the relay. And let's see who he can see. All right, we're going to enter the LHR command here. And let's see who KX4YD can see. Okay, KX4YD can see W4NAS. And you can see W4NAS and KX4YD via W4NAS. Okay, he is not seeing AB1L. AB1L is seeing him, but he's not seeing AB1L. And that's the reason we can't connect to him. I'm going to disconnect here. I know he's at work, so. All right. But that's how Pathfinder works. It helps you find a station that you can't see. Let's say I can't see N9HEL in Callahan. All right, I'm not sure. I don't think he's on the air. We can check. Let's do a Pathfinder to him, and let's do N9HEL and see if we can find a path to him. W4NAS did hear him last night when we were testing. He's still working on antennas. So his signal should be longer, but I have a tendency to think he's not on the air right now. And that doesn't look like it. Okay, so if they don't respond back, if somebody doesn't respond back, that means one of two things. It means that the station you're looking for is not on the air, or none of the stations in your broadcast area here, or in your receive area here, can see him either. Okay, I started up recording again because I did get a Pathfinder request back for N9HEL, and W4NAS did hear him about 6 hours ago, which means he's off the air right now, but W4NAS does have N9HEL in his beacon list. So therefore, we could relay to N9HEL through W4NAS. So we did 2 Pathfinder requests here, and we found 2 stations. We do see KX4YD here, but he's running via W4NAS already. If he was not beaconing through W4NAS, we wouldn't be able to see him. But we still could pick him up on the Pathfinder here. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, get a hold of me. And thanks for watching this segment. All right, let's just cruise around a little bit and do some odds and ends and look at a few things. We're going to settings here. And we have canned predefined messages. These are all messages that you can set up. And let me show you here. You can set them up by clicking settings and canned predefined messages, and this screen comes up. And you can have a welcome message. Actually, I don't have one in there. I think I'm going to put one in there. And then when you come down here, you can use these canned messages right here. You give them a little heading, and like let's say I'm going to use my info, and I click on that, and here it queues this up here, and I can just easily just transmit that and say send, and it'll get transmitted. So you can set up anything you want on there just to make your life easier. I have a couple of emojis set up. I also have a canned message for LHR. Oh, let's go up in here. Let's look at it up in here. Okay, right here I have a canned message for LHR. And that's the last heard station. If you connect up to somebody, you issue this command, less than capital LHR, right, greater than. What it's going to do is it's going to show you the person you're connected to. It's going to list what's on their beacon list. It's a pretty useful tool to see what someone else is hearing. So I use that kind of quite a bit. I connect up to somebody and issue that, and just to see, who they're hearing and who, could possibly be relayed to. So keep that in mind. But you can do all these things here. And let's also go into settings, and let's see here. Alert tags and configurations. We can set up different alert tags for various situations and keywords and things like that. We're going to talk about that because we'll be using that mostly for emergency operations. And we can flash a message on the screen here in a different color and play a sound, something that's makes you aware that a message has come across. And we haven't quite figured that out yet, but a list of that will be coming that you can put on your system. Okay, we got those things. Let's take a look at the beacons. If we have the beacons here and we right-click on, let's say, W4NAS, look at all this stuff that comes up, okay? We can connect. We can ping right from here. We can send the Vmail now. Broadcast and reply. QRZ.com lookup. I like this one here. If we click that, we get that. That's pretty cool for somebody you don't know or just being nosy or whatever. So that works pretty cool. And what else do we have over here? You can block somebody if somebody's a pain in the butt. You'll see the calling history. I haven't tried this. Let's see what's in there. Okay, here's all the times all the times I've contacted. I must have clicked on Dave K04CKW. So it's going to give you all the calling sequency and the past messages. There's a ton of stuff that's stored on here. I'm telling you, a mess of data that he ends up logging here. But that's pretty cool to play with. And let's take a look at something else. And we've got it here. We can look up PSK Reporter. If I click on that for K04CKW, it'll bring up PSK Reporter, and we can see my connection to him here. I wish you could zoom in more on this map, but you can't. I'm not quite sure why, but maybe we can figure that out. And that would be the same thing as coming over here and doing the PSK reference map. Whoops, and okay, and this is what we're getting here. And these are all the stations that were heard recently. So that's actually, how the hell we get Lake City? Oh, no, I'm not sure why Lake City is highlighted there, but I don't know. So that's another interesting thing you can do. And let's take a look at emojis again. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to do something else before we end this. These are all things you can send. I talked about this in the beginning of the video, but I just want to go over this again. You can inquire about all sorts of information about a person, and you can actually do that through inquire right over here. But you can also do that in your command, in your text line right here. And you can get sounds to play on their side. You can get emojis to come up on their side too. So there's makes chatting maybe a little more interesting. I don't know. It's kind of fun to have that there. All right, let's look at one more thing, and that is called ham play. In ham play, right now he's got 2 games in there. Let me connect up to, who can I connect up to? Let's connect up to KX4YD, because I know he's working. And
Connected to Kilo X-ray 4 Yankee Delta.
make sure we get our handshake signal and handshake done here. There it is. We got one more to go. And it is a relay, so we're moving a little slow. Taking its time. There it is. Okay. All right, we're connected up. And let's go into ham play. And it says double click the game to play. I'm not sure what corner 4 is, but let's double click it anyway. Okay. It brings up this game here. And he's saying the same thing on the other side, and you can play this game. I'm not sure how this works. I'd have to read the instructions. But let's close that off. Let's bring up ham play again, and let's do tic-tac-toe. Way too easy, but you know, you can play a game on here. Supposedly he's going to be putting a few more games on there. It'd be nice if he had chess or even checkers or something like that, or Battleship. I think I heard rumor that Battleship was coming, so it might be pretty cool. All right, that's a few other things you can do here. We're still discovering stuff, and we're still waiting for people to get their antennas set so we can make some relay connections and figure all that stuff out. That should be coming in a few weeks. So it's going to get a lot better. Hey, appreciate you watching, and let's see if we can keep this going. And always be beaconing. Very important. Always be beaconing. Okay, this is N9HEL.